It's coffee time, it's coffee time, it's the One Pot Chef drinking coffee in time. And that's still crap. Welcome to Coffee Time, the monthly chat show here on the One Pot Chef blog where I answer questions sent in by you. And if you've got a question for the next edition of Coffee Time, all you need to do is leave it in the comments section underneath this video on YouTube. Before we get started, just a quick apologies for the lateness of this video. I know it's about 2 weeks late. Unfortunately, I've had a lot on my plate this month. I've had a lot of things going on and Coffee Time just kept pushed back further and further. So anyway, here it is, and let there be no further nagging of me on Facebook or anything. Okay, guys, I've done it. All right, so I've got my coffee, I've got my questions. Let's get started. First question comes from Valentine Creations. David, what is your favourite American food that you've had so far? It can be anything, a sweet or an actual food. And what is your favourite Australian food? Also, if you had chosen something to never be able to eat again, which would it be? Chocolate, peanut butter or toffee? Love your videos, by the way. Thanks for taking the time to make them. Okay, well, we've got several questions there. What is my favourite American food I've had so far? There's been a few. Because, I suppose as a sweet type thing, I think it's got to be Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. I love them. I thought they were absolutely fantastic, and we don't really have anything quite like that in Australia these days, although Reese's stuff is becoming a little bit more common now. When I first tried it, I'd never even conceived of chocolate and peanut butter together. It was just such a weird combination, but it works. As for something more savoury, I don't know. I tried lots of different things while I was in America that I'd never tried before, but I had the best burger ever. It was at that Five Guys place in Los Angeles. I really enjoyed that burger. It was absolutely, without doubt, probably the best hamburger I've ever eaten in my life, hands down. So I'd say that's probably it. So that would be there. What was the other question? If I had to choose one of these that I could never eat again, chocolate, peanut butter or toffee? Although I enjoy all three, I'd probably pick toffee as the odd man out, simply because it gets stuck in your teeth really badly, while the other two tend not to. So even though I do enjoy a toffee now and again, I would probably vote it for elimination. Next question. Danny Colin. One Pot, why are you so damn awesome? I have no idea. I think it's just a lack of bad taste on everyone else, because I don't get why people like my videos so much, but maybe it's just me. I'm very sort of, very self-critical, I think. Who knows? Maybe because my parents were awesome. There we go. Emmy Galen, OPC, have you ever mooned anyone? I'm going to take the fifth on that one. I'm pretty sure I haven't, but that being said, back in my drinking days, who knows? It's quite possible. I'm going to say no, I haven't, and hold my fingers together and hope it's the truth. Austin McGrew, have you ever sat in a beanbag before? I have a vague recollection of sitting in a beanbag at somebody's house ages ago, and it was really uncomfortable. I don't know what the popularity of them was, because they're just awful, to be honest. Yeah, I don't see... They come back in and out of fashion on a regular basis, and I've never owned one and never felt the overwhelming need to have one, so, yeah. Oh, dear God, Rob J. Nixon. What individual flavour would you choose to best describe each YouTube cook in Australia? Oh, dear God. Well, there's a couple I could nominate for sour grapes, but I think we'll leave that alone. Well, let's see. We'd have to... Nico would probably be... Probably a sort of... a salty, spicy rub. The kind you put on crackling. Cooking with Karma would be that, I don't know, that chocolate with a little bit of chili in it. It's sweet, but it's got that little hint of spice to it. Oh, God, this is going to get me into trouble. I'm moving to the next question. Salt rub. I'm just going to drink my coffee and move on and pretend that didn't happen. You better not. I apologise for the noise of my neighbour. I don't know if it's coming through or not, but he's decided that angle grinding now on a Sunday morning is the best time to do it. Next question. Gloria Knack. Hello, David. I love your smile and your laugh. Oh, thank you. Your videos are very entertaining and informative. Is there a country you would like to feature on the taste test that you haven't tried items from yet? Well, there's quite a few countries out there that I haven't had done on the taste test yet, but I suppose Russia would be interesting because, like, I went to Russia when I was very young with my parents on a world tour thing, and this was just before the fall of communism, and I remember it was a really creepy country because, like, you always had somebody with you watching you and making sure you were staying in the tourist zones and stuff like that. But I don't really remember the food or anything like that, but I would be very interested to see what native Russian candies and things like that are out there, because I would imagine they've got a fair amount since the fall of communism. They'd have a lot of foreign stuff coming in. I'd like to see what traditional Russian sweets would be like. It would be interesting to see. So that would be my answer. You're starting to annoy me, bad neighbour. Excuse me a second. Ah, the joys of having a walking stick. You don't have to get up to close the window. Working mum of 4. Us Americans would like to know what a bacon and egg pizza is. Please make one. Oh, because I mentioned it in one of the other videos. Yes, okay. To be honest, I've never actually made one myself. I only ever order them from the pizza shop. But basically what it's like is a deep pan pizza with a sort of medium to thick base. And it's got your tomato paste sauce type stuff on it and things like that. They have the chopped up cooked bacon and the beaten eggs mixed together, almost like an omelette, and it gets poured over the top, covered with grated cheese, and then put into the oven. And so it's almost like scrambled eggs on top, but it's not scrambled eggs. It's all one sort of solid, almost like a giant omelette type thing, and then you cut into it. I like it. Some people don't, but yeah, that's basically what it is. So interesting. I must see if I should make one of those. I don't know if I've got a deep enough pizza pan to make one. I'll look into it and I'll think about it. Mr. LT Muldoon. Do you look more for presentation or taste when you dine out? Love your videos. I think probably a bit of both, to be honest, because, I mean, there's an old saying, you can roll a turd in glitter, but it'll still stink of shit. And yeah, I always apply that to food. Is like, you can make something look as pretty as possible, but if it tastes like garbage, no one's going to want it. That being said, some of the tastiest stuff that I enjoy doesn't necessarily come from some fancy restaurants or get plated up in these sort of weird stacks and stuff that they do on television and all that stuff. It's not all artsy-fartsy. Sometimes it's just really decent ingredients thrown together. And like, there's a beautiful kebab place nearby that does these wonderful doner kebabs, and it's just like a hole in the wall type place, but they use the freshest vegetables and ingredients and beautiful homemade flatbread. It's absolutely stunning. That being said, you look at it, it doesn't look like anything particularly impressive, but the taste of it is astonishing. So I think a healthy dose of presentation and taste is always good. Sassy Bat. I love that name, Sassy Bat. There is nothing sexier than a man that cooks. Out of all the cooks you know of, they could be a celebrity or YouTube cook. Who do you think is the most charismatic? And you can't say yourself. Are you deliberately trying to get me in trouble? You know what's going to happen, don't you? If I name someone, the other people will go, why didn't you say me? And if I don't name anyone, they'll all go, why didn't you say me? I can't win. Charismatic. I think there's a healthy dose of inverted commas there somewhere. Oh, goodness. Well, on television, in Australia, there's this Spanish cook. His name's Miguel Mestre. I think that's how you pronounce his surname. He's stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. Seriously, I would sell everyone I know into slavery to buy him presents. He's just gorgeous. That says a lot about me, though. As for YouTube chefs, oh dear God. I'm going to take the fifth on that because, yeah, I know what'll happen. I'll get whinged at. Either people will go sort of like, it's not fair, you should have said me, or I'll just say no one and everyone will say, no, it's not fair, you should have said me. So I'm just going to say they're all equally gorgeous in their own ways. There we go. And that's the biggest cop-out answer in history. The Austin 17. If you had to eat one YouTube cook from Australia, who would you eat? What is with these questions this month? Good grief. Who would I eat? Well, in the event that I decided to throw all of my morals out the window and begin a cannibalistic rampage orgy of death, who would I choose to consume? Good question. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question because I've never really thought about it. I'm not sure. I don't know. I suppose Nico. Although, actually, no, these days, because he'd be sort of stuffed full of quinoa and cactus juice, so, maybe Cooking with Karma. Yeah, I think we'd definitely eat Cooking with Karma. Because she's sort of like, does a lot of sweet stuff. She'll have sort of nice veinage. That sounds really disturbing that I'm discussing my friends as meat. Oh, God. Moving on. Next question. Okay, Kiriana Dodge. Hello, David. Love your videos. You always make me smile. My question is, what is your favourite... Oh, what is the biggest difference between American and Australian food, and what inspired you to start cooking? I would say the sole biggest difference between Australian and American food is portion size. Americans have enormous portions of food. When I went over there, I was shocked. Absolutely shocked at how even the smallest meal at a restaurant is just enormous. It was so weird. Yeah, I remember going somewhere and just ordering a small plate of pasta for dinner, and it was just this enormous pile of food, and I was like going, so this is the small, and they go, we can get a bigger one if you want. I'm like, hell no. Yeah, so what was the other part of the question? What inspired me to start cooking? I've always cooked. I've always been cooking with my mum when I was a kid, and I just sort of went from there. I started out helping her in the kitchen, stirring things and stuff, and it just sort of went from there. So, yeah, it's just sort of one of those things that's always been a part of my life. Beaner. Hi David, out of all the crazy animals like funnel web spiders, black mamba snakes and great white sharks that you have in Australia, which one do you hate the most and or have had the worst encounter with? I think I had the worst encounter with a great white shark, but that's only when I was eating it, but that's another story. Because we eat sharks in Australia, but we give it a funny little sort of sanitised name at the fish and chip shop so people don't think of it as eating a shark. We don't care about the sharks unless they're covered in batter and deep fried and served with chips. So, I don't think I've ever had any encounters with funnel web spiders, black mamba snakes, which I'm fairly certain don't actually come from Australia. I think they're in America. And great white sharks, yeah, I don't think I've ever had any particular encounters with any of them. As for hating them, I'm not a big fan of spiders, I suppose. I don't really like spiders. We occasionally get huntsman spiders in the house, but we tend to just shoo them away because they're not actually sort of dangerous to people, but they help to get rid of things like, if you've got things in your house like cockroaches or anything like that, they tend to sort of do that, so we shoo them back into the garden where they belong. Let's see. Nathanium Wong? I am a 12-year-old viewer from Hong Kong. Just wondered, when will you cut your hair? Short enough for you? I must admit, I let it grow this time round, and I don't know why exactly. I think it was mainly because I was just so incredibly busy over the last couple of months. I've had so many things going at once, and just trying to find 20 minutes to get out of the house and get my hair cut it was difficult. So, yeah, I went and got it done last week or so, I think it was, and feels so much better now. So, what a weight off my mind. Good coffee. Next question. Oh, Beaner again. Got one more for you. What do you think are the most overrated TV show and movie series? For me, it's the Hangover trilogy. Can't think of a TV show. I've only watched about the first 15 minutes of one of the Hangover movies. I think it was the first one, and I wasn't that fussed on it either. Yeah, I would say it's probably one of the top ones as being overrated. As for TV shows, I would probably, and I'll probably get a lot of hate mail over this, I would probably say it was that How I Met Your Mother. Because I remember when that first started, I watched a few episodes of that, and I was just sort of spent the whole time shaking my head going like, am I missing the joke part of it? It's not particularly funny. And, yeah, I just sort of sat there sort of going, I don't understand why people are going so crazy about this. And people just kept going on and on about how incredibly funny this show is, and I just didn't see it. So that would probably be my pick. As a Productions MI, have you seen the older BBC TV show Are You Being Served? If so, what is the first thing that comes to mind when you remember the show? I am free! And more than a few pussy stroking jokes. I actually love Are You Being Served? I've got the complete series on DVD. I think there's like 20 DVDs on my shelf of Are You Being Served? And I sort of pull them out now and again, and that sounded like a double entendre. But yeah, I love that old style kind of naughty humour where it's sort of inappropriate jokes and double entendres. And it was so cold last night, my pussy was frozen solid. I had to wave it in front of the oven for an hour just to thaw it out. See, that's funny. I like that. And if you think I was talking about anything other than a cat, then you've got the dirty mind. And that's the point of that humour. I like that. Cute Mandy Shorty 1. 3 questions. Who is your favourite actor or actress? How did you and your partner meet? And how old are you? Okay, favourite actor or actress? Good question. I don't know. I don't know if I actually have a favourite actor or actress. Because I tend to sort of like the performance more than the actor themselves. I won't necessarily watch a movie simply because such and such an actor or actress is in it. I'd rather sort of hear a review about whether or not the movie's actually any good. Yeah, but I definitely like Julia Roberts. I definitely like Kevin Spacey. Nicole Kidman in some movies is quite good as well. I don't know. It's an interesting question. How did you and your partner meet? Oh, we're so cutting edge. We met on the internet about, goodness, 12 years ago, 11 years ago, somewhere like that. Back in the days when the internet was chat rooms without pictures because people didn't really have digital cameras. So we had to get to know each other the old-fashioned way by actually talking to each other. And we spent several weeks talking to each other on chat, and then we decided to meet in person, and we became really good friends, and our relationship just evolved over a year or so and eventually became our relationship, and we've been together for almost 10 years come August. So yeah, see, the old-fashioned things of meeting on the internet. What was the last question? How old are you? I'm as old as my nose and a little bit older than my teeth. In fact, I'm a great deal older than some of my teeth. Yeah, I am in my late 20s. Shut up, Rob. One Joanna Forever. Hey David, since you might not do a Draw My Life video, would you mind telling us your ambitions and goals for the future? For example, would you consider opening your own restaurant? I would not open my own restaurant. I don't see that happening. The reality is I've never really had an ambition to do restaurant-style chef-type things. Really, I'm just quite happy doing stuff at home, teaching people on the internet and all that sort of stuff. I have fun with that. And I've worked in restaurants and done that sort of stuff, and I've seen the stress that people are under trying to run things like that. I couldn't be bucketed doing that. As for goals for the future, I think it's just basically expanding what I'm doing online, focusing more on doing more writing with the cookbooks and things like that. Maybe sort of progressing to other mediums. It just depends on what opportunities present themselves, I guess. Rosie Freckle. It makes me so happy when you answer my questions, so here's two more. Are you a fan of Harry Potter? I went to the Harry Potter studio tour here in England and I bought every flavour beans and they were crazy. The most astounding flavours were earwax, earthworms, soap, grass and vomit. Delightful. And have you ever had the desire to experience a more British Christmas, e.g. cold snow snowmen? It blows my mind that my cousin in New Zealand has Christmas on the beach. Well, the Harry Potter thing, I can't say I'm a fan of Harry Potter. I watched the first couple of movies when they came out. I never read the books. I enjoyed the first couple of movies, but I can't say I was really that sort of... It didn't turn my life around or anything like that. I wasn't that fussed. It was sort of like, it was enjoyable. I probably should get around to watching the other ones at some point. As for the earwax and earthworm flavoured jelly beans, that disturbs me on so many levels. I want to know exactly what the hell they were doing when they were actually testing out these flavours to see if they were actually correct or not. And are they made of earthworm? Have you had the desire to have a British Christmas or with a cold winter thing? I would love that because having lived in Australia pretty much my entire life, I've never actually seen snow. There's only a couple of places in Australia where it does snow, and most of it's kind of artificial snow, but like there is some natural snowfall here and there in the country, but I've never been there to see it. Yeah, I would actually really enjoy that. Christmas is always in the height of summer here in Australia, so we end up having the air conditioner going like crazy, and we don't have a hot meal because it's too bloody hot. We always have cold cuts and all that sort of stuff. So it would be interesting to have a winter Christmas. That would be fun. That being said, they do Christmas in July here in Australia. I think it's a way of trying to get the winteriness of it, but unfortunately there isn't enough places where it snows to make it really that sort of winter experience. But I've never done Christmas in July before. I've never actually participated in that, but it would be interesting to see what it's like, though, if I could actually do a Christmas in the UK or somewhere where it does snow. Maybe Christmas in Connecticut. I hear that's good. It's an American thing. I keep hearing Christmas in Connecticut. They must have a sort of corner the monopoly on Christmas over there or something. Spazmaz. Could you please elaborate on you giving, quote, Nico a night that would make his eyes roll back in his head, but not for the first time, from the marry, kill, or have sex with question in the last video? Can I elaborate on that? No, I can't. I'm so good at starting rumours. Yeah, I'm going to leave that alone. I'll just leave it to your imagination. Trust me, anything you think up with will be so much more entertaining than the actual truth of the matter, so there we go. Very 77. What do you like most, meat or chicken, potato, rice or pasta? Okay, well, meat or chicken... Probably chicken. I probably eat it more than I do actual red meat these days. Potato, rice or pasta, I like all three equally. You can't go past mashed potato with pretty much anything. Mashed potato rocks. Definitely love a big bowl of pasta. And rice is just like perfect for pretty much anything. So like, yeah, I'll probably lean towards mashed potato because I've got a soft spot for mashed potato. How old are you? Next. Do you have any brothers or sisters? I've got 2 sisters. And if I want to send you some things for taste tests, how do I find your address? Lots of love from Sweden. My address is on the channel page on YouTube. So all you need to do is go to my channel page and click that little About tab and it will show you the address on there. But if worse comes to worse, my address is One Pot Chef Show, PO Box 4338, Bay Village, New South Wales, 2261, Australia. And I'll put that up on the caption there at some point if I remember to do that while editing this. There is a good chance I won't, so whatever. Well, I mean, it is there somewhere. It is on the channel page. Like Lunch Boy, what do you use the whiteboard for behind you? Would love to know just one thing that's written on it, please. Ah, yes, the whiteboard. That's what I call the big board. And what I do is I plan out all of my recipes and videos for the month, and I put them up all on the board, and I can sort of cross them off once they're filmed and edited and whatnot. I also use it for writing down my scheduled appointments, any kind of meetings that I have, that sort of stuff like that. And it also reminds us of things like reminding myself to do annotations on videos, because I often forget to put the annotations on them before they go live. Yeah, so basically there's not a hell of a lot very interesting on there at the moment. I don't generally tell people what's coming up ahead of me when I'm doing cooking videos, because there are certain people out there who will try and do them before me in some desperate attempt to try and outdo me, which I find really sad, to be honest, but it's entertaining nonetheless. So, but yeah, one thing I do put up on the board is when the next coffee time video is due. Unfortunately, as experience shows, I rarely pay attention to that bit, so that's democracy. Oh, pardon me. Bloody Sunday mornings. Next question, Ghost Girl 1221. Did you do any clubs when you were younger? Oh, honey, I used to run a nightclub. I'm assuming you're talking about nightclubs. I don't think there was any other clubs I was involved in. But yeah, I used to do the clubbing thing when I was younger, but I got bored with it when I got to about 23 or so. And yeah, I just sort of, yeah, it's fun when you first sort of get out of high school. And because here in Australia, the age for drinking is 18, not 21 like in America and a few other places. So you get out of high school, you go out to clubs and pubs and things like that, and you suddenly that first sort of hit of being an adult, and yeah, it's intoxicating at first and it's quite entertaining, but eventually it gets very boring very quickly. And although there are some people who will literally spend the next sort of 20 years of their lives going from club to club to club, most people get bored with it very quickly because it is very repetitive after a while. But yeah, I had fun with it when I did it. Coffee. Nearly out of coffee. Not good. Wayne Hodge. Hi, David. You have a wonderful personality, so I wanted to ask you 2 hypothetical questions. Oh, dear God. These are, of course, a joke. Number 1. Which would you rather do? Slide down the edge of a 100-foot razor blade or suck an elephant's nose till his head caved in? I think you have an over-exaggerated sense of the ability for me to suck that hard. Not going to go any further with that comment. Yeah, I think given the choice, I would probably go for the razor blade thing, simply because I don't really want a giant mouthful of elephant snot. Which, yeah, I could live with that. Number 2, you are in snot up to your neck. What is with you and snot? You're in snot up to your neck. The only movement you can do is squat. Somebody throws a pile of shit at you. Do you duck or let it hit you? I don't know how to answer that question. That's like, what the hell? Well, I suppose if I'm up to my neck in snot, I don't think it really matters if I get a pile of shit on me as well. I think I've already crossed certain boundaries there, so, oh, dear God. I'm moving on. This question scares me. Sean Rafferty, what's your favourite dessert? I think it's got to be Mum's lemon cheesecake. I think there are a few things that sort of pop up occasionally that replace it, but yeah, I always seem to come back to lemon cheesecake. I love that. It's so creamy and sweet and got that little tanginess of the lemon, and whenever I eat it, it always reminds me of Mum, so I like that. I think that's definitely my all-time favourite. Curtis P. I haven't watched all of the Coffee Times videos yet, but I imagine this question hasn't been answered. Who do you want the new Doctor to be? Do you want him to be Australian? I don't think so. I don't think I'd want him to be Australian. I think, well, I suppose it could be an Australian actor, but I think the one thing about the Doctor as a character, he's always had that sort of Englishness to him, and I think that if they stray too far from that, I think, like, that's why I don't think it would work if they had an American Doctor or whatever. But as for a new Doctor, I hope it's somebody older, because, like, the Doctor just keeps getting younger and younger and younger. And by the way, we're talking about Doctor Who here, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about. Yeah, the Doctor seems to get younger and younger and younger. I mean, if he gets any younger, to be chucking a bloody fetus out of the TARDIS. So, yeah, they need to really make him slightly older. I think he needs to be, at a minimum, he needs to be around about 35 or so this time round. Just sort of, he needs to have a certain older quality to make him sort of a bit more, give him a bit more authority in a situation, because, like, at this point, he's practically getting to the point where he's like a teenager, and, like, a teenager walks into a room with a bunch of people, he doesn't really have that much sort of authority, and physical authority. So I think they need to go a little bit older this time around, and I hope that's what they do. So they can't imagine them getting much younger, I mean, yeah, as I say, but who knows. Oski 1969. Would you ever consider making some recipes for people with food allergies? I love all your recipes, but I wish I knew how to adapt them to my food allergies. I cannot eat dairy, soy, wheat, gluten, or corn. I eat the same foods every day and would love a change. I try to avoid doing food allergy type recipes, mainly for one simple reason, and it's basic safety, is that if I turn around and say, this is such and, like, say, it's gluten-free, as a good example. If I turn around and say that a recipe is gluten-free, and I have made a mistake in it, and it isn't actually gluten-free, I could potentially make a lot of people very sick. I could potentially kill someone. And I don't want that on me, because I'm not an expert on these food allergies, things like that. I'm not an expert on diabetes-friendly food, all that sort of stuff. And while it's easy to sort of try and avoid things like, say, dairy in a recipe, when it comes to things like gluten or corn, it can be extremely difficult, because they are components in other ingredients that you may not necessarily know. And it means I have to do a lot more research into every single thing that I use, and it makes it that much more difficult to do. So I tend to let those types of recipes go to the experts who know what they're doing. And there are quite a few channels out there who do a lot of gluten-free stuff and dairy-free stuff and vegetarian stuff and all that sort of things. And I just tend to stick to what I do best. So I think it makes more sense, because I don't want to end up making people sick by accident, and I would hate that. So I try to avoid doing those sort of recipes wherever possible. I touch iPod 4. Do you? Hi, David. I always wanted to know what got you into cooking. Oh, we've done that already. Yeah, I started with my mum. So, yeah. V20 Tour. How long have you been with your partner for, and how was your coming out? What's your partner's favourite food that you cook? Well, my partner and I have been together for nearly 10 years. I came out in two stages. I came out in high school, and but I didn't tell my parents, oddly enough. And then I told my parents just after high school, and it all went pretty well. Mainly because I'm very tall and very big, and no one in their right mind's going to try and take me on. So, yeah. As for my partner's favourite food, Brian's very boring, to be honest. He likes lasagna, spaghetti, pasta, dishes like that. I could literally make that every day and he would never get bored. He actually eats the same thing for lunch every day. Ham and cheese sandwich. He has that for lunch every single day, and he's had it for as long as I've known him. He very rarely changes his lunch time sandwich choice. It's very odd. But yeah, he's one of those people who's very sort of knows what he likes and sticks to it and isn't willing to try anything new because he might be disappointed. So yeah, it's quite the opposite of me. I'm quite happy to try other things while he's sort of, I don't know, this sounds a bit different. So yeah. WHPLS. Do you guys have Mexican food in Australia? If so, what's your favourite Mexican dish? We have some Mexican restaurants in Australia, but I would question if it's even close to authentic Mexican food. It's just your sort of standard tacos and burritos and nachos and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. I do like a burrito now and again. I must admit I don't get Mexican very, very often, mainly because there aren't many around where I live, the Mexican restaurants. The one or two that are in the area aren't particularly good. They're kind of gross. So, yeah, the only time I generally have Mexican food is when I'm travelling and I'm out and about and trying different things. So, but yeah, I'm a bit of a sucker for a burrito. Yanni Hurt. Where did you get the TARDIS apron? I need that in my life. I got that from the ABC shop in Australia. It's an official licensed item. So you should be able to get it from online, from the BBC website or ABC website. If you're in Australia, you can get it from just your local ABC shop. If you're not, I'm sure you can find it online. You just have to look for TARDIS apron or Doctor Who apron. I'm sure you'll find it. Yeah, it was a little more expensive than the average apron, but I saw it and I had to have it. It was just so camp and silly. I thought I had to have that. Carrie loves fashion. Hi, David. Have you ever tried poutine? I think you would really enjoy it. I haven't tried it, but I've seen it before and I reckon I would really enjoy it because one of my favourite snacks when I was a teenager was chips and gravy or French fries and gravy. And poutine is basically the same thing, but it's got cheese curds on top as well that mixes in, and it sounds really good. I would love to try that. Next time, if I ever go to Canada, I would love to do that. I would love to go to Canada just to try the different types of poutine that are out there because I've heard it's fantastic. It would be great to try. Claydon Groom. Can you try more UK foods? I certainly try, although I did just put a UK video up yesterday. Yeah, I would probably do more if I could find more here in Australia. Unfortunately, most of the UK foods for like the taste tests and whatnot are either sent to me by people from the UK or ones that I happen to find at the local international candy shop, but I've kind of run out. There's not a lot of that in my local sort of shop that I can do because I've already done them. So I'm kind of dependent on people sending them to me at the moment. So, yeah. Muriel VH Deshabert. Oh, hello. What is your secret to being so naturally happy? Coffee, and I'm heavily medicated. Well, there's the coffee. I don't know if I'm naturally happy. Well, I suppose I am naturally happy. It's not artificially happy. But I don't know. I think it just comes from sort of doing what you love, basically. Because like I get the best job in the world. I get to do what I like in my own time. I'm my own boss, so I don't have like somebody looming over me with time schedules saying you're late doing this, you're late doing that, as this video proves because it's 2 weeks late. But yeah, I just basically have a fairly relaxed life these days, which is nice because I haven't had that for a very long time. I've had quite a stressful life with work and stuff like that. So it is quite nice to be back to a bit more calmness and happiness, and I think that's probably what brings it out in me. So, yeah. Quit your job and join YouTube. There we go. The secret's of happiness. Licho3440. Did you ever watch Roseanne, a series about a white trash family? Is there such a thing as Australian white trash? Yeah, I definitely watched Roseanne. I loved it. I've got several series of it on DVD. I don't think I've got it all. But, yeah, it was one of my favourite shows for a long time. It was just brilliantly written. It was very funny. As for Australian white trash, we don't really call them white trash. We generally, and it's an offensive term in Australia, it's becoming more socially acceptable to say this in Australia these days, which is probably not a good thing. But basically, the Australian name for white trash is bogan. Basically, it's the same meaning, though. It's sort of from a lower socioeconomic sort of background, possibly less educated, that sort of description. Yeah, it's an offensive thing to say, to go and call people bogans or white trash or whatever, but essentially it's the same thing. Angel Blue Teller. Have you watched Sons of Anarchy or True Blood? If so, what are your favourite characters? Also, who do you think... what do you think is the best way to make meatloaf? I like to mix ground beef, pork, turkey or chicken. Is it possible to do a grain or veggie one? By grains, I mean cooking quinoa, wheat berries or farro. Okay, first things first. Sons of Anarchy and True Blood, I have never watched either of them. I've actually got, I think, the first 2 seasons of True Blood on DVD, which a friend gave to me to watch. And I've never got around to watching them. They've been sitting on the shelf for God knows how many years now. I don't know. I've never watched either of them. But I keep getting people saying, you've got to watch this, you've got to watch this. It's like Game of Thrones. Like, everyone I know keeps nagging me to watch Game of Thrones and I haven't watched it. And I think it's because so many people are nagging me to watch it that I kind of go off the idea of watching it. But True Blood I should sort of sit down and watch someday. As for meatloaf, I do different ways to meatloaf. I mean, mixing meats, like doing a combination of beef and pork or turkey and chicken is great. I tend to make mine, because if you've seen my video on the cooking channel for meatloaf, what I do is I put a series of boiled eggs in the centre, and then that way when you cut it, it has a little slice of egg in the centre, and it also guarantees that the meatloaf will be cooked all the way through the centre. You don't get a raw bit in the centre, like which can happen sometimes. It's good like that. As for a vegetarian meatloaf, I have never, to my knowledge, seen a recipe for one. That being said, I've never entirely understood why vegetarians want to eat meat substitute things like meatloaf, because, like, I don't know. I can't think of a vegetarian version of it. I've never seen one, so I don't think I can help you on that one. That being said, there are a lot of vegetarian channels out there on YouTube, like Vegetarian Baker. Might be worth going looking up them to see if they've done one or if they know of one. Might be worth checking out. DDBP. Hi, David. Since Australia is very close to Bali in Indonesia, and many Australians go there for holiday, will you one day visit Indonesia? Anyway, many sumptuous foods in Indonesia. Bali and Indonesia are very close to Australia, and it's fairly cheap to go there. I mean, I think you can fly to Bali from Sydney for about $300 one way. It's fairly cheap. That being said, I've never really had a major sort of appeal to go there, to be honest. I've never really wanted to go there, mainly because I've heard from friends who have gone there that it's not as great as a lot of people make out, mainly because there are so many of these cheap Australian tourists there that, and it's actually kind of embarrassing. I really hate it as an Australian that when Australians go overseas and behave badly, but it's unfortunate there are a lot of people who go over there and just think, well, because they're overseas, they can do whatever the hell they want, and there are no consequences, and they'll just act like drunken fools. And that's what a lot of Australians do over there, unfortunately. And yeah, if I want to go on a holiday filled with drunken Australian idiots, then I'll just stay home. Like, there's no need to fly over there. But yeah, I've never had an overwhelming need to go over there. But that being said, if I could go to a place in Bali where it's not so touristy, if it was more traditional, and I'm sure there are places where I can do that, and I can try the traditional foods and do stuff like that, that I would be interested in doing. So that would be good. Next question from Melanie0224. Where would you like to visit in the world and why? I'd like to go to Machu Picchu. I think I've said this before in the past, and it's mainly because I like the idea of visiting somewhere where you're above the clouds, because I've seen those images of Machu Picchu in Peru that are just stunning. They're just breathtaking images of people just looking down at this ancient stone city in the top of the mountains above the clouds. It's just gorgeous, and I would love to stand and see that for myself in person, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. But that would be my choice. Lefty Don. Love your show. I was wondering if you have ever heard of cronuts. It's going nuts in the States if you could try to come up with something close. I've heard of these cronuts thing. It's like a combination of a croissant and a donut. And my friend Cooking with Karma did a video on them recently. I don't know. I think it's like cake pops and whoopie pies and things like that and all that sort of stuff. They're like fad things. They come, one usually becomes the thing of the year every year and then they disappear into obscurity again, although cake pop seems to be a bit more resilient this time. Yeah, cronuts, I don't know. I've never tried to make them before, but that being said, I've never actually tried one before. I've never seen them for sale here in Australia, so that being said, I'm sure they are somewhere, but I have never seen them anywhere where I live, so who can say? See what happens. Whatever is true 01. What do you do with the leftover food from your videos? There's leftover food from my videos? Well, I've got a big freezer for the savoury stuff, so anything that doesn't get eaten by my family for dinner usually gets packed up into little freezer boxes and my partner takes them to work for lunch. Then you can just microwave them and heat them up when he gets to work. As for the sweet stuff, most of it gets gobbled away by certain people who shall remain nameless, who have figured out when I film my videos and drop by, in inverted commas, in order to just happen to be in the area and, oh, look, you've made this chocolate cake. Oh, I'll help get rid of it for you, sort of thing. Yes, I know who you are. I know what you've been up to. Yeah, so they play the innocent card of, oh, I had no idea you were going to be cooking this chocolate mud cake today, but since you've done it anyway, get the slice out for us. Yeah, so I rarely get to have much of the sweet stuff that I make. Usually what I taste on screen is about as much as I usually get. It's usually by the time I go to actually get a slice after I've done the video editing on here in the computer and whatnot, I'll go to have a slice and it'll be gone, so... such is the life of a YouTube cook. Licho3440 again. What's your typical order from McDonald's look like? I've got to be honest, I don't go to McDonald's much these days. I've kind of got over it because I occasionally, when I feel up to it, I'll go to McDonald's for breakfast sometimes and get like the sausage McMuffin because I rather like that. But yeah, their main menu, I don't like it. Like, a lot of their stuff is just really sort of bland and it doesn't taste like it's cooked properly. Particularly a lot of the beef burgers are just sort of schmeh. Sort of, yeah. I'm not really that fussed. I would rather go to a place that makes actual burgers, like a burger or fish and chip shop. Or just make burgers myself, because I know they'll have a lot more flavour. They're a lot more satisfying. Like, you can get a cheeseburger from McDonald's. It's just kind of like this size and schmeh. And it's like, it tastes like nothing. So, Matthew Martin. Just a quick note to say that I love your videos and your humour simply makes your videos perfect. Can you do another bloopers video? I've actually stopped doing the actual bloopers videos, mainly because I've been putting them into the vanity cards at the end of the cooking videos. And I've not been doing a lot of bloopers recently because I've actually had a run where I'm actually doing things right. And the few bloopers that I've done aren't particularly funny, so I haven't bothered to put them in. So once I start stuffing things up on a regular basis, I promise to make more. And if I get lots of bloopers, I might actually make an actual full-on blooper video again. But yeah, most of the time I'm actually getting things right, which is good in some ways and terrible in others. Blitz in the kitchen. What was your first ever cooking video on YouTube, and is it still up? Yes, it is. It's on the cooking channel, and it is for chicken and scone bake, I think it is. Creamy chicken and scone bake. It was a recipe that my sister gave me. And it's funny to go back after, 6 years and watch that video. It's cringeworthy for me because, like, I had no idea what I was doing when it came to editing. The video goes for, like, nearly 10 minutes. And there's literally a bit where I'm just standing there stirring for, like, 3 minutes. Like, I could have just cut that out, but I just didn't have the clue what I was doing when I started. There's no lighting. It's done on an old film-based camera, so it's not digital, so it looks really sort of dodgy looking. And my partner at the time was doing the camera work. It wasn't all done by me, so like he's there sort of zooming in on things and it doesn't quite look right, and he did his best, but like again, he didn't have a lot of experience with filming YouTube videos either, so I think it's one of those things where sort of like you start out and it looks dreadful and you learn things as you go, and eventually you pick up a few skills, and that's what happened. But then again, as I say, I go back and watch that video and just go, why did you not edit, you idiot? Turn on the light, you moron! Oh dear. Next question, Sarah Kaiser. What made you start making YouTube videos? Have you had moments in your... Oh, the question kind of cut off there. I think, yeah, she must have fallen asleep while typing. Okay, so what made you start making YouTube videos? Boredom, basically, because when I first started, I was off work with my back injury and I wasn't able to leave the house much. I was in a lot of pain, so I basically was sitting on the couch watching daytime television and getting bored senseless. And we'd recently got the broadband on, the high-speed internet, and discovered this whole new YouTube thing, which apparently was all the latest craze, and I was instantly addicted. And I love the fact that it was all just everyday normal people in their homes with their own video cameras making entertainment. And I fell in love with the idea immediately, and I thought, that would be so cool. And I could have my own cooking show because I like to cook. And yeah, I had no idea that I'd be the first one in Australia to ever do a cooking show. So I was stoked at that, and I really had fun with it. And as I said, it started out as just something to break sort of the monotony. And when I put that first video up, and suddenly I had people from all over the world going, when's the next video going up? And I was there going, ooh, didn't know I was going to do another video. Okay, I guess I am. And did another video and another video. And next thing I knew, I was doing it as a job, as my full-time job. So, yeah, that's how it all started. Scrapyard Ape. If I suddenly showed up unannounced at your door asking to be fed, would you? And if so, which recipe would you make for me? Hopefully not the cola chicken. I think you'd like the Coca-Cola chicken, even if it was undercooked and looked grey. Yeah, if you showed up at my door unannounced, I would definitely feed you. I can't say what I would feed you, but... No, I'd definitely feed you. I'd sort of, whatever we have left over in the fridge. I'm not cooking specially for people who just turn up. Oh no, I'm out of coffee almost. Oh, my dear departed brother. How I love thee. What the hell did I put in this? Sandon Godwin Welsh. Got a question for you. Even though you said in previous coffee times that you're an atheist, would you still be able to express your attitudes and opinions towards religion, belief, the existence of God, and all that jazz? Also, I highly recommend you see a film called The Game with Michael Douglas. If you haven't already, if you're a fan of the thriller genre, you will love it. I think I saw The Game years ago when it first came out, but I can't honestly remember it, so maybe it's one I have to go and watch again. As for the whole God and all that jazz thing, yeah, I am an atheist. I don't believe in God or the afterlife or any of that sort of stuff, but my opinion has always been that if you believe in God, then there is one, and if it brings you comfort into your life, if it brings you anything at all, then I have no objection whatsoever to someone believing in God or Buddha or a magic turtle or whatever. I mean, whatever it is you happen to believe in, that's all well and good. My issue tends to be with people who feel the need to say, yes, I believe in God or Buddha or the magic turtle, and you should too, and I'm going to pester you until you do. Like, if you believe in God, that's great. Go for your life. I'm happy for you to enjoy your worship of God, even if I personally don't agree with it and don't believe it myself. But please don't try and force it upon me as well, because, like, I'm not interested. I don't believe it. And so, yeah, that's always been my opinion. And as I say, like, I think that religion is a good thing. If it brings you something positive into your life, then so be it. But I tried it. I tried to believe in God, but it just didn't work for me. So, yeah. Where are we next? Gibolo4. My question is, what was your best childhood memory? I don't know. I have so few childhood memories, to be honest. Because my memory's really bad these days. Like, I have a sort of minor neurological condition, and my early memories seem to have disappeared into a cloud of haze, and so I have a vague recollection of going to a theme park when I was very, very young, and then suddenly I'm in high school, so who knows? I can't quite remember, but I don't know. I don't really remember. I'll have to think about it and come back to you. G Disgood 7. Why do so many in other countries find mixing chocolate with peanut butter so bizarre and disgusting tasting? I'm in the USA and I just don't understand. We grow peanuts here for one thing, and the combo is delicious in my opinion. What is up with all the people who think it is crazy and they don't like the taste of it? Please help me to understand. I feel we're being put down in the US for liking chocolate and peanut butter, and I find it rude. Basically what it is that the whole combination of chocolate and peanut butter is a very American thing and is virtually unknown outside of America. And even I hadn't heard of it until only a few years ago. And it's a weird combination. It's like, I don't know, like, if someone came up to you and said, I can't believe Americans don't like ketchup milkshakes, like everybody's drinking them, you'd probably think, ketchup in a milkshake? That just seems so bizarre, because like, why would you think of those two things in one thing? It just seems so like a strange combination. That's essentially the same attitude that most of the world has to chocolate and peanut butter. It seems like such a weird combination. It's not a derogatory thing towards Americans by any means, I don't think. But I think it's just because it's such an unusual combination. Most people outside of America just go, ugh, yuck, sounds weird because it's something I've never tried before. But that being said, most people who try it will either dislike it immediately or they'll just go, I can't believe I didn't think of this before. It's so, so good. Because I love it. I love chocolate and peanut butter. But yeah, that's what it is basically. It's just such a weird alien concept to most people outside of America. So, Hillsman25. Have you ever thought of doing some of the YouTube food challenge videos, such as the cinnamon challenge or eat 6 crackers in a minute? I've never heard of eat 6 crackers in a minute, but the cinnamon challenge, I would never do that because I know a couple of people who have done it and they've said you are insane if you do because it hurts like hell. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be doing the cinnamon challenge. Yeah, I find those food challenge things a bit kind of meh. Like, I think I do enough food challenges with taste tests, especially after that toxic waste episode. Oh, my tongue. Yeah, so, yeah, I can't see myself doing the cinnamon challenge anytime soon. Marshmallows 2. I love both your channels. Have you ever broken any bones? What's your favourite alcoholic beverage? Do you have a favourite board game? I've broken my tibial tubercles, which is that little bony growth plate thing that's underneath the kneecap, just below the kneecap. I broke both of those when I was a teenager. I've cracked a few ribs over the years, but I've never actually broken any major bones like an arm or a leg or anything. Favourite alcoholic beverage is probably either vodka and tonic or vodka and cranberry juice. It depends on how camp I'm feeling that night. That being said, I don't drink a hell of a lot these days. Do I have a favourite board game? Monopoly, but unfortunately in our house, it's a blood sport. Like, seriously, it's actually got to the point where people will actually leave the room screaming, going, here's a knife, cut my heart out, because they've landed on fucking Park Lane. So I wish I was making that up. So yeah, so it's kind of got into the blood sport category in our house, and so it doesn't get played very often these days. Lewis Johnson, would you prefer a McDonald's, KFC, pizza, or a home-cooked meal? Probably a toss-up between the home-cooked or a pizza, but it would have to be a good quality pizza, like not like some Domino's type thing where it's sort of pre-cooked and everything. Like, so a freshly made traditional style pizza would be lovely, and I do actually order them occasionally because, frankly, when you spent all day cooking and filming and editing and stuff like that, the last thing you want to do is go into the kitchen and actually make dinner. So, yeah, pizza is definitely a good alternative sometimes. So, yeah, I would go for that one. Do you prefer to live in the UK or Australia? Have you ever visited Brighton in the southeast of England? And my last question is, what do you like most about England? Well, I've never actually lived, per se, in the UK. I was over there for a few months when I was a kid. I wouldn't say I actually lived there as such. I was sort of there for a few months, I think, mostly. But I don't really remember a lot of that over there. But I've never been to Brighton. At least I don't think I have. I remember going to a place called Western Superman, which I found incredibly funny as a kid because I thought they said we were going to Western Superman. I suppose what I like most about England is, I don't know, probably the sense of humour, because it's so similar to Australia, and I love English comedy, particularly sitcoms and things like that, because they are just so well done. They're usually written by one person as opposed to like a team of 20 or 30 different people from America or whatever. It's really a unique type of comedy style and writing, and I really enjoy that. So that's what I like most about England. Gaming tips and news. If you were trapped on a desert island with one cooked meal, what would it be? P.S. Give me a shout out. All right. Shout out to Gaming Tips and News. Check them out or die. That's the worst shout out ever. Check them out or die. What was the question again? Oh, trapped on a desert island. I'm going to put a moratorium on these desert island questions. I can never answer them because they're always sort of like, I don't bloody know. One cooked meal on a desert island forever. I don't know. I never know how to answer these because, like, when it comes to like taking food or anything to a desert island and having it forever, you'd get bored shitless with it eventually. So, like, I have to sort of think, what do I hate as much that I didn't mind having it all the time, but like as much that I wouldn't want it be spoiled by having it all the time? I'm not really sure. Spaghetti bolognese. There we go. So, like, I'm not terribly fussed on spaghetti bolognese, but then again, I don't hate it, so I could probably live with having it every day. So, here we go. The TF Stars Cream. Or Stars Scream? I'm not sure. Love your channels. Have a question. Did you ever say YouTube channel Food... have you ever seen YouTube channel Food Wishes? He's a good cook. You should go check him out. Yeah, I've seen Food Wishes. Chef John. I don't subscribe to him. I used to subscribe to him, but to be honest, I don't watch a lot of cooking videos these days, mainly because I'm too busy making my own. So, yeah, I don't have a lot of time for recreational video watching these days. I tend to not do that. Yeah, but I do know Chef John. I think he does some great work. Copycat Chef. Dear David of Nazareth, good God. Please share 2 reasons why food is better than sex. And as per the last Coffee Time video, your porn name should be David Chilcock, starring Lord of the Rings. Oh, Frodo, that's not what I meant when I said destroy the ring. There's always one that crosses the line, isn't there? Please share 2 reasons why food is better than sex. I'm not sure there are 2 reasons why food is better than sex, but maybe if we combine the 2, the things I could do with a jar of peanut butter and a stick of celery. I don't know how to answer that question. I'm just going to move on and hope for the best. Celery. Oh, dear God, I think I let too much out then. Shani DeMau, 123. Hi, David. What is your favourite chocolate? I would say probably Cadbury Dairy Milk at the moment. I'm sort of having a thing for that at the moment. And I tend to get just the regular dairy milk at the moment because I'm not really that fussed on the filled ones at the moment. I go through phases. Some of them I like things where it's got caramel in it or some kind of goo that's flavoured on the inside or nuts or whatever. But I'm going for the plain, uncut, hardcore stuff at the moment. R-Step-00. Have you ever watched the show Queer Duck? It is a 3-minute short about an anthropomorphic gay duck and his 3 friends. It's very funny. You should watch it. I've never heard it, but I think I might look it up. Is it on YouTube or... I'll look it up and I'll get back. Gaming tips and news. Oh, here we go again. Do you know what WWE is? If so, who is your favourite? Well, I know it's the wrestling. I don't personally watch it. See ads for it occasionally. I if I watch it, it's not because I'm watching it for wrestling, let's put it that way. I've always maintained that kind of WWE wrestling type thing is just basically gay porn for straight guys. But, which has actually ruined it for a lot of people when I've said that, because then they've gone back and watched it, they go, oh my God, he's right. So, I don't watch it. But that being said, if John Cena would happen to turn up on my doorstep wanting to pound the hell out of me, I probably wouldn't say no. Emmy Gallen, can you make a video on how to make turducken? Oh, God, no. Oh, no. I think that's an abomination. I've heard of this. I've never tried it, but just the idea of a turkey stuffed with a duck, stuffed with a chicken is just creepy and weird. Yeah, I don't get that at all. That crosses a lot of food barriers for me. Jordan Williams, what is your number one piece of advice you would give to people, or to give to someone who isn't confident? You seem to have such great self-esteem no matter what. I think the best piece of advice is that once you get past the fact that people will judge you no matter what, so it doesn't matter what you do, just go on with whatever it is you feel is the right thing to do in any given situation, and if people think you're silly or stupid or whatever, who cares? Like, that's their opinion. They're entitled to their opinion. And in almost any given situation, you're likely to never see the people involved. Like, if you're in a room full of strangers, like, there's no reason to feel shy or anything like that, simply because you're probably never going to see any of those people ever again anyway. So who cares if they think you're a bit of a dickhead or if they think you're stupid or weird or whatever. Just have fun. Let go of any of that sort of crap that you're holding inside of you going, oh, I'm so scared people are going to be judging me or they're going to think I'm weird or whatever. And just laugh out loud and make a fart noise or whatever, because like, you're never going to see him again. So that's my advice, is just go for it and just enjoy the moment, because God knows you could get hit by a bus tomorrow. So why spend all that sort of time worrying about what might possibly happen if you're going to get hit by a bus tomorrow? So who the hell knows? That's my advice. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's kind of how I run my life. So there we go. Stewie Griffin. Oh, hello. I really love your videos, man. Every one I've seen so far has been happy, informative, and positive. It sounds pathetic, but you provide me with a little escape from my life of stress and injustice. Love you, dude, all the way from England. Hope to visit your beautiful country of Australia soon. Oh, thank you very much. I hope you come to Australia too. I'm sure you'll have a great time. It's always a great place to come for a holiday and all that sort of stuff. I'm happy that sort of what I do sort of helps to buck you up a bit, so that's great. I think that's fantastic. Not Famous Kid. Hey, I was wondering how I should go around getting my mum to start watching your channel. She's a really proud, stubborn cook. Any video you should recommend? I was thinking of showing her your latest video. Oh, showing her the video of you saying, I think I'm going to like it here in LA. I love the show. Okay. I don't know. I suppose you just happen to have one on when she comes into the room and she'll either like it or she won't like it. I don't know. But maybe just show her one of the cooking videos and sort of let her go, oh, wow, I'd like to make that too. Because, like, if she's really sort of one of those people who's sort of a stubborn cook, like, I'm assuming you're sounding like you're trying to encourage her to try my recipes, maybe you should just lead by example. Maybe you should make her something, or based on one of my videos. Or, as I say, you could literally just be watching it when she happens to come into the room and go, have a look at this, Mum. How yummy does this look? Or whatever. And go from there. That might work. Ryan Dean, do you make cooking videos full-time? Absolutely. It's literally my full-time job. I work exclusively now doing YouTube videos, and I have no free time. I mean, it's Sunday morning and I'm recording coffee time, so yeah. I should get to have a sleep in occasionally, but no. But yeah, that's what I do full time. I love it. It keeps me happy and keeps me borderline insane, but it certainly keeps the lights going, which is nice. Sammy Manners. Have you ever listened to Korean pop music? Gangnam Style is not included, or try Korean dishes. Love your videos. Keep up the good work. I've had a few people ask me before about the Korean food thing, and we don't have Korean restaurants nearby where I live, so I don't think I've ever tried Korean food. As for Korean pop music, I can't say I'm a big fan of pop music in general, but add pop music plus a language that I don't understand makes it a little less difficult for me to enjoy, well, a little bit more difficult for me to enjoy, because like not only do I not really like pop music, but then not being able to understand what they're saying in the music is just kind of meh. Like, I don't know. Gangnam Style I kind of enjoyed initially, but mainly for the beat of it, but then I got bored with it very quickly, mainly because I had no idea what the hell he was singing about, and yeah, just sort of, it's kind of difficult to sing along with something if you have absolutely no idea what they're saying, so yeah. I think that's brought us to the end of coffee time, because yeah, we've literally reached the end. We've got no more questions. We're all done. So thank you very much to everyone who sent in questions. And if you've got questions for the next edition of Coffee Time, please leave them in the comment section below on YouTube. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to go and refill my coffee because, oh, empty. I desperately need it now. So thank you very much for watching, and see you next month.